Hey, it's Neill, the Prove It guy, and we're still focusing on confidence for this month. Earlier in the week I said that confidence was a skill that can be learnt. What I mean by that is, like, you don't meet a footballer or someone that plays tennis or someone that wrestles or any sport and they're just confident doing it. You wouldn't just walk into the sport and think, I'm going to be the best at this, it's going to be no problem to me. Or if a flight was in trouble and someone called over the airways that they needed a pilot, you wouldn't just go, oh, I could fly that, I'm pretty confident I could do that, I'll give it a go. Like, the confidence is a skill that's built over repetition. So if you wanted to be a good wrestler, you go and train and you grapple and you wrestle and you practice and you get stronger and you get better. And people at meetings that have to talk in front of boardrooms or people that have to talk on stage, they practice what they're doing. They walk around their house and they read their script. They practice how they're going to talk, how they're going to move. And that's what gives them the confidence. Whenever they know that they are able to do it for themselves, and they know they can do it in front of a couple of people, like if they've tested it with friends or they've tested it out and work colleagues, then they know that they have the confidence to go and do it because they've repeated what they're doing and they know exactly what they're going to do. I think people just expect to be confident. They think that people are just born with it. That when you see someone standing on stage and they're confidently talking and they walk and their presence is very confident looking, people would say, he's just born with that, that's just him. But it's something that they've repeated, they've practiced at home and they've repeated and they've got better at it. So it's something that you can do. The more you repeat something, the more confident you're going to get at it. Bruce Lee said something that fits with this. He said that he doesn't fear the man that has 1,000 kicks, but fear the man that knows one kick and has practiced it 1,000 times. So I know that's not exactly word for word what he said, but it's something like that. The point is that when you repeat something enough, you become confident in it. Like, people just expect to be confident in every area of their life, but if there's things that you aren't used to doing, you're not going to be confident doing it until you get to do it, until you repeat yourself over and over again until you know exactly what's going on. Whenever you're doing this, whenever you're practicing things to the point where you become confident in it, it takes a long time. You have to focus and you have to keep going. But just ask yourself, how many times at the first hurdle that you failed did you just give up? How many things do you think you'll not be good at because you're just not confident doing it or you just don't have the ability? But when you look back to how much you practiced and how much you tried, you didn't really put in the time or put in the effort to get somewhere with it. So think back to things that you stopped doing because of the first hurdle and think about how if you had continued to do that, where you would be at this stage, whether it's weeks or years down the line. Another thing to focus on is our negative self-talk. We talked about this before. But if you have negative self-talk, then you're never going to believe in yourself. So even if you just start to talk about something that you're good at and say to yourself that you're going to give this a chance, at least you're going to try and it's positive. And if you remember, our thoughts influence our actions. So if we're thinking positively, we will act positively. If you think negatively, then you will act negatively or not at all. So remember, thoughts influence our actions. So get yourself an affirmation. We talked about affirmations before. Get yourself a positive affirmation. Muhammad Ali's affirmation was, I am the greatest. And no matter what anybody else tried to say or whatever they tried to do to put him down, he always said he was the greatest. He always believed it. He always felt it. And now he's known as one of the greatest sports people of all time. Self-confident people interpret the world completely different from everyone else. They see things that other people didn't see and they see it in a positive light. So you might go to play a game or a sport and your team does terrible, and you go home and you talk about how terrible the team went, and someone with self-confidence might come home and talk about how they made a great pass, or they ran better than they've ever ran before, or they performed better than they've ever done. They still lost, but they're taking the good from it. They're seeing what they did and how they could improve on themselves, rather than just focusing on the loss and focusing on how badly everything went. This is the start of a new week, so why not take this week and decide to be more positive? Decide to see the positive things about the work that you do, about the time you have traveling to work, whether you have 5 minutes or an hour, you could listen to something that helps improve your life, and just see how far you can go in a single week.